This is Murtazaa Tanbeer Ahmed, welcoming you all to the Students Leadership Building session number 21, organized by Bangladeshi engineers and architects worldwide. Today, our topic is a very interesting topic, which is climate change should be the top priority concern in the world. To discuss on this topic, we have two teams, 6 participants. So in Team ES, we have Abdullah, Tahsin, Ragib, Nihal, Sadad, and Ahmed. They will speak in favor of the topic. On the other hand, we have Fatin, Ilham, Sinan, Abdullah, Tafhim, and Rayhan Ahmed. They will argue against it. Since this is a very interesting topic, we can expect an engaging debate. By the end, inshallah, we hope that we will have a better understanding about the topic, climate change, and what's its priority. In today's debate session, there will be 2 rounds. In these 2 rounds, in both rounds, the speaker will speak for 3 minutes. Each speaker will get 3 minutes to speak. I will give them a reminder after 2 minutes 30 seconds so that they can wrap their speech in next 30 seconds. And we will start with the speaker from the ES team and followed by a speaker from the No team. And we will continue this pattern until everyone has their own turn. And we will maintain the same speaking order in the second round also. And we have our panel of judges. They will evaluate the speakers in some points. The points are like communication skill, 5 points. In-depth knowledge and understanding on the topic is 9. Argument is 8. Modesty, 5. Liveliness and or articulation is 5. And counter argument, there will be 8. So the judges will judge all of this. Here modesty is also a point, I think, and liveliness also. So speakers and argument and counter argument is very important since it is a debate session. Yes, we can start with someone from the ES group. So you can raise your hand, anybody from the ES group. ES group, we have Abdullah, Tahsin, Ragib, Nihal, Sadad, and Ahmed. Anyone from you 3 can start the session. Ahmed, you can start.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Ahmed, studying in grade 9 at Islamia English School in Abu Dhabi, and I'm from Bangladesh. Let's talk about the topic now. The topic is climate change should be the topmost priority concern in the world. I'll be speaking in favor of yes, and the reason is because I think it is an issue which is the greatest threats in the planet. Well, there are several reasons why I believe this. The first one being that something we have all noticed recently is that an increase in the number of extreme weather events. This one includes excessive number of floods, earthquakes, hurricanes, droughts, wildfires, and so on. And these events are not distant to happen, but it is happening right now. These natural disasters can become the new normal if we don't take any action. That's not all. Because of climate change, it's damaging our property gradually. It damages our food and water too. Unpredictable weather changes means that crops are failing more often, which means shortages of food. Changes in rainfall pattern. This disrupts our water supply. While this might seem like a problem for the farmers themselves, it's actually a problem for us all who depend on food and water. Also, health-wise, a rise in temperature would mean a rise in the amount of heat waves, which are deadly, especially for the elder people. Diseases can also spread out through a rise in the level of insects, for example, mosquitoes, which usually live in warmer places. The economic costs for dealing with these climate weather events and climate changes are increasing at a very alarming rate. There is also an issue with global security because of climate change. It is causing people to shift their houses just because their homes have become unlivable for them. Climate change is also hitting our ecosystems. We're losing species at an alarming rate just because they can't adapt quickly enough to the changing temperatures. Coral reefs, which are very vital for the marine life, are also bleaching. Climate change is affecting almost every aspect of our life. For example, our environment, our health, our economies, our ecosystems, um, our biodiversity, and also our future. It is very necessary for us to make this the topmost priority of the world because there is still time to act and make a difference. Or else we're just looking
You
at
have
a
30
future.
seconds left.
Okay. Or else we're just looking at a world with more extreme weather events, deadly diseases, wars, and refugee crises. Thank you.
Thank you, Tahmeed. That was very nice. So now I expect someone from the no group. Anybody, Abdullah, Tafhim, uh, Fatin, Sinan, or Rayhan Ahmed. Rayhan Ahmed, you can start.
All right, thank you very much. Now, to start off with, I'd just like to mention that when I argue against the topic, it's not that I'm saying that climate change should not be a priority. I just believe that it should not be the topmost priority, as that would mean putting our the most resources and putting our most of our focus into solving climate change. Now, the issue with that is climate change is a very broad area. There's a lot of things that could be done in order to reduce climate change, and a lot of those could be a bit difficult to achieve. So I personally believe that instead of focusing on climate change, we should focus on more pressing matters as of right now, such as the conflicts going on in the world right now. So the examples of such conflicts would be the conflict in Ukraine and Palestine. These conflicts generate a large number of greenhouse gases, and the figures as of the conflict in Ukraine produced nearly 16 million cars, the same amount of greenhouse gases as 16 million cars would produce in 2 years. And the conflict has been going on for about a year. Now, putting the focus on Palestine, the conflict in just the first 60 days of in Palestine produced around 150,000 tons of coal, which would be the equivalent of burning that much. Now, solving these conflicts would be much simpler than solving climate change, and it would also greatly provide to the climate change effort. This would also save lives and greatly hinder the climate change that's going on right now. Now, this is just the first topic I have. Now, another way we could help to stop climate change or slow it down would be by focusing on better sources of energy. Currently, the world is in an energy crisis, as in there's a shortage of energy available for everyone in the world. So I believe that if we instead stop focusing on burning more fossil fuels in order to generate and make up for that energy, we could focus more on nuclear fission. And instead of manufacturing weapons and nuclear weaponry for war, and instead using those raw materials to focus on nuclear energy, we could greatly reduce the amount of greenhouse gases produced per year. Nuclear fusion is fission is one of the most clean sources of energy and simply the most efficient, as it is 1 million times more, and it produces 1 million times more energy per kilogram compared to burning coal, which is one of our more which is one of the main sources of energy right now. So I believe that focusing on these alternatives.
Rayhan, you have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech.
Yeah. So I believe that focusing on these alternatives would not only save lives, but it would be killing two birds with one stone. We'd solve multiple issues while also helping greatly with the climate change issue at hand. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Rayhan. You had a very well structured, very impactful argument. Thank you very much. So next, someone from the yes group again. Abdullah Tahsin, you can start. You can start your.
Everybody, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Abdullah Tahsin. I'm from Bangladesh. I live in Sharjah, UAE, and currently I'm studying Bachelor's of Mechanical Engineering at the Fort University, first year. So the topic for today is, should climate change be the topmost priority in the world? Now, to simply answer the question, the answer is, in my opinion, it's a yes, because what people fail to mention is that climate change is one of uh, the topic that has a long-term impact. It takes place slowly. The effect started to come in slowly, but then it also has a larger impact. So all these wars, all these other stuff, these can be solved with a treaty, or it can be also solved within a span of years. But then if we mess up something regarding climate change, it can set us back thousands of years. Now, climate change is one of the most pressing issues facing our planet today, with a range of environmental, social, economic impacts that are already being felt around the world. As temperatures and weather patterns become increasingly unpredictable, we are seeing more frequent and severe natural disasters, such as food and water shortages, displacement of people. Now, in this session, I'll try to discuss as to why the world needs to prioritize climate change. Firstly, climate change is an existential threat to the planets and its inhabitants. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is the IPCC, the world must take immediate and sustained action to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels to avoid catastrophic consequences such as sea level rise, ocean acidification, and extreme weather events. The longer we delay the action, the more severe and irreversible the impacts of climate change will be. Secondly, climate change is not just an environmental issue, but it is also a social justice issue. The impacts of climate change disproportionately affect the most vulnerable populations, such as your low income communities and indigenous tribes, who have contributed least to the problem. For example, is extreme heat waves, which are becoming more frequent and intense due to climate change, can higher the rates of related what do you say, heart-related illness and death in urban areas
Tahsin, you
with
are into your last 30
inadequate
seconds.
infrastructure. Okay, inadequate infrastructure and limited access to cooling. And thirdly, my last and final point, addressing climate change also presents opportunities for innovation, job creation, and also economic growth. Thank you.
Tahsin, that was great. So two participants from the yes group has finished. No group, Rayhan Ahmed has delivered his speech. Now another participants from no group. Sinan, Fatin. You can introduce and you can start your argument.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh everyone. My name is Sinan. I study in grade 10 in the International School of Rayfat. I live in Al Ain and I'm from Bangladesh. Today our topic is about climate change, and I'm on the side and I'm against it being the top priority. Now, climate change, it refers to the long-term change in the weather, like global warming, increase in sea level, acid rain, etc. While this may be a very big concern of our planet, there are a few key factors on why it should not be a top priority. Now, one factor that uh, it may be very long to solve or it can't be solved instantly, and even if we possibly put our top priority, our full priority into it, it can maybe take years or maybe even decades. And one thing that is a problem to this is the countries that heavily rely on fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. These fossil fuels are used to provide electricity, and these developing countries, they may struggle to transition from these, and this will hinder these countries' development and maybe even increase the poverty in the country, because it will cost a lot of money for them to transition, and it will also be very difficult to manage other problems that they have to deal with, which brings to the main point of my argument, which is human needs. Now, human needs like food, water, etc. This can be a top priority for this, a top priority instead of climate change, because putting our priority into global warming and etc.
Sinan, you are into your last 30 seconds.
Alright. It can lead to increased poverty and increase the gap between the rich and poor, because it can increase the higher cost of living if they imply more taxes for the solving of global warming, and this mainly affects the low income families, because the majority of their money is already spent on essential items for survival.
Fatin, you can wrap up.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sinan, for your nice arguments. Now, from the ES group, only Ragib, Nihal, Sadab is left. So, Ragib, can you start? Can you introduce yourself and start?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ragib Nihal Sadab, and I'm a 12th grade student in the International School of Shuwaifat, located in Al Ain. And I'm on the side agreeing with the fact that climate change should be a global priority in the world. And to begin, some say that there are far bigger concerns in the world, such as wars among nations and conflicts which occur between them, which are also very important, and I totally agree with that. But many people forget that there's a greater war that should be paid more attention to, and it's the war between us humans and our mother nature and Earth itself. It's a war that has been continuing on ever since the dawn of humanity, and it's slowly reaching its pinnacle point, its climax. If no peace or compromise is achieved, the whole Earth and every organism living on it is at the risk of extinction. And climate change strips people off of their basic necessities like food, water, and shelter. It also, the reason why it should be internationally prioritized is because climate change is linked with many other global concerns. And addressing climate change and making it a global priority can help solve other global issues as well that are mentioned. Examples of such issues include poverty and inequality. As you know, many people around the world don't even have access to basic needs, and that in and of itself is a global issue. But climate change is also linked with it. The effects of climate change can impact poor countries the most, because it's the poor countries that lack the resources to fight the effects of climate change. And since they're affected the most by it, it increases poverty and equality by increasing the gap between the rich and the poor, which further worsens the issue. And solving climate change can help solve those issues as well. Another one is public health concerns, which deal with pandemics and diseases and such. And climate change causes diseases like malaria and other infectious diseases to spread like wildfire, killing thousands or even millions of people. And contributing to climate change can also help produce those problems as well.
Ragib, you're into your last 30 seconds.
Okay. And lastly, I would like to say the availability of jobs as well. Investing into new sustainable and renewable technology in order to fight against climate change can give rise to many new jobs. And effects of climate change are becoming much more apparent, especially these recent years. 2023 is the hottest year ever recorded. The rise in global temperatures puts our entire planet at risk. So climate change should be a global concern among every nation. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ragib. It was very nice. It was very nice. You brought up a lot of points. That's very good. Now, from the No group, Abdullah, Tafhim.
All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm Abdullah Tafhim, studying in grade 12A now, Progressive English School Science stream. So I'm in favor of no. That means that global change should not be the topmost priority concern in the world. Now, it should be a concern when you have food on the table, when you have a laptop, when you have Wi-Fi, literally in your home, thinking about the world that, oh my God, our planet is literally dying. While meanwhile, the street next to you, people are dying. They can't get food in their stomach. What will they care about the world when they can't literally put food in their stomachs? They can't feed their families. They're unemployed. People resort to violence. So we, as posh humans living in Dubai, one of the richest countries in the world, one of the richest cities and countries in the world, thinking about climate change. So let us go to the prehistoric times. So global warming is one of the main reasons is greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, and these things, they trap the heat that comes from the sun, and they result in global warming. They result in melting of ice and whatnot, and they also result in maybe variable climate change. For example, Dubai, they got flood. Now this is also linked to global warming having undetectable climate changes. So these are all impacts. But then we have major issues. People have been dying in the war in Palestine, as Mr. Rayhan Ahmed said, and then people have been dying in wars, and then Ukraine, Russia war. It's as if that the countries, they ignore some facts, they ignore some of the major concerns because they're just political, or the countries that are doing it, or the countries that are actually forcing violence, they're too strong. So they just try to divert the public opinion on things like global warming. So let's go to the facts. 900,000 years, records from the last 5,000 years, the global climate has meandered, and it has gone up and down countless times, 1,500 year cycles. So do you know, in 2007, in 1 year, the global cooling happened that erased 100 years of global warming preceding to it. So that is the thing that has been going on, and you haven't heard about it. Why? Because media wants to force. Yes, this has been the
You're
global
into your
warming.
last 30 seconds.
In South Africa, 33.5% are unemployed. They can't put food on their plate. And then 49.6% of the entire African population, they're in poverty. So why would they care about global warming when we, the major countries, they're concerned with cooling the earth rather than providing help to our brothers and sisters? They're dying. They do not have the resources to even think about it. 19 people out of 1,000 people in New York, they're homeless. They're literally begging for money. Why can't we focus on that? Energy coming in 342 watts per meter per second and meter square by energy of the sun. That is just facts that just happens. We can't stop it.
Wrap up.
All right. So that's what I'd like to say. It is a concern, but it should not be the topmost concern.
Thank you very much, Tafhim. Actually, initially we thought that, the no group, it is very difficult for them, but Rayhan, all of these, Sinan and Tafhim, they made it very difficult for the yes team now. So it is a very good competition now. Inshallah, we will see a very good second round also. So second round, we will maintain the same speaking order. Huh? So we will start with Tahmeed, who spoke first for the yes team. So we will maintain the same speaking pattern like we did it in round one. So let's start with Tahmeed. This is the second round, and second round also, all the speaker will have 3 minutes. Huh? So Tahmeed, you can start.
Okay. As it has been mentioned before, that climate change is affecting food and it is increasing the poverty. Well, if we focus on climate change, it can solve all these problems at once. Because if we focus on climate change, it can help solve our water shortages, our food. Because these climate changes are reduce our crop production and they increase hunger, which is the main reason of food security impacting millions of people in the world. For example, long droughts that has happened in the sub-Saharan Africa has led to several life losses and severe food shortages, which is a main reason for the increased number of malnutrition and hunger in Africa. Also, as mentioned before in the no group, that it is difficult for countries to afford climate change, and the richer countries are not helping the poor countries to address poverty. Well, the richer countries, if they address only poverty, then it will not help them to overcome the other problems that they have. So if they help the poorer countries in climate change, they can overcome poverty, they can overcome inequalities, they can overcome their job losses, because when addressing climate change, it creates new jobs for people. So there will be the unemployment rate will be lower for people. Also, to so these are the things that has been mentioned before, and I'd like to confess.
Okay, thank you, Tahmeed. So now, yes, group are fighting back. So now, Rayhan from no group again.
All right, thank you very much. Now, the points made by the Yes group have been very well made, but I'd like to focus on something Mr. Ragib said as the war between people and about the war between us and Mother Nature. Now, as conflicts begin to arise, as I've mentioned before, between Ukraine and Russia and Palestine and Israel, as these conflicts begin to arise, opposing sides and countries that support each side will also have tensions between them start to grow. Now, if these conflicts aren't resolved immediately, it could lead to a more conflict arising between other different nations. And eventually this could engulf a lot of the allied nations into a larger war. Now, this would mean is that before Mother Nature could wipe us out, we'd basically be, ending ourselves due to the large conflicts. And especially the way military technology has been advanced, this would be extremely fast and it would make the whole process a lot faster. Now, the reason I believe personally that solving these conflicts should be the topmost priority is that when these lives are lost and the resources used in military, all of these resources, if they were not used in something more beneficial, it would be much better and it would much help more towards climate change than just other alternatives. For example, Joe Biden himself has given Israel $95 billion in military aid. This $95 billion could easily help provide for free education for the entirety of the USA and possibly even help the homeless and completely wipe out homelessness in the USA. Now, instead of using it for more beneficial and more, better uses, they decided to give it to a military fund, which only causes more, chaos and the loss of lives and loss of innocent lives in Palestine. Another point I have to make is that focusing also on energy, on a cleaner source of energy. As of right now, the greatest cause to climate change are greenhouse gases, and the majority of these greenhouse gases are produced by the production of electricity and energy. Now, if you do a quick Google search, you'd find out that the largest way we produce electricity and energy is by burning fossil fuels. And these fossil fuels obviously produce tons and thousands of tons of greenhouse gases every year. So if we decide to switch to a much more renewable or even a much more efficient source of energy, as I've mentioned before, like nuclear fission.
Rayhan, try to wrap up your speech.
Yeah, all right. it would not only provide jobs, such as constructing these nuclear plants or windmills or whatever alternate sources we go for, but it also greatly diminish the greenhouse gases produced each year by, these by these burning of fossil fuels. That's all I have to say.
Very nice, Rayhan. Very nice. So it's not easy for the ES group, of course, I will say. It seemed like easy, but no, it is no. So now, Tahsin from the ES group.
Yes. So apparently, as mentioned, that by the No team, that we shouldn't prioritize climate change when there's lots of poverty, when there's lots of unemployment. But the thing is that uh, if we give priority to climate change, if we give a job which includes cleaning of the oceans, that includes cleaning of the area, that includes seminars and campaigns that focuses on climate change and how to make it better, it can provide a lot and lots of employments and jobs to people who are unemployed, and it can also decrease lots of poverty in third world countries. And also, as said, that greenhouse gases, they make the global warming even more impactful. But the truth is, if if the army and the military, they 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 produce more weapons day by day because of the wars and conflicts, if if they do not produce, if they reduce the production of all these weapons, they can also reduce greenhouse emissions, because all of these explosives, all of these bullets, all of these war can reduce the emission of greenhouse gases, which will be very beneficial. So I consider uh, reduction of weapon production as one of the measures on how to change the climate and make it better. Thank you.
Thank you, Tahsin. So ES group has two person already finished. So only Ragib has left from the ES group. Now is from the No group. Fatin, Sinan Fatin.
Now, when we talk about other concerns that that should take more priority over climate change, I can probably go on with public health. Now, there are multiple things about public health, like disease prevention and healthcare access. When you prioritize climate change over these, then people won't really know about these diseases. They won't receive education. They won't be aware of these diseases. And it may be true that the climate change can affect people and more diseases can be spread. However, us people can also spread diseases between each other, and this is mainly because of a lack of education. And we can most likely put some priority over this and make preventing the diseases much easier, and making people have access to these healthcare much easier, and also teach about sanitization and hygiene, because they can also be common factors to people being infected with diseases. I remember my biology teacher talking about when she went to a restaurant. She witnessed a lady that works in the restaurant and used the toilet and then walked out the toilet without washing her hands, and then making the food for people. This way, diseases will be spread much faster between people, and it's not mainly from the climate change. and all of this is mainly because of a lack of education. And there are also some diseases in the world that don't have a cure yet, like cancer, HIV, AIDS. Priority can be set on these researches on uncurable diseases, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Fatin. Actually, the debate is now in a very interesting stage. Both the teams, they are doing very good, and now the last speaker from the Yes group is Ragib. Ragib, can you please start?
Yes. So I'd start by quoting something. It says 1 million living species are now threatened with extinction. And this is due to the irresponsible environmental practices. And in 2018, the World Health Organization estimated a death toll of 7 million people every year caused by ambient or outdoor and household air pollution, and which is at the same scale as the biggest wars in history that we've seen, like the world wars in the past. And yes, there are much more serious concerns right now, like the wars that are happening in Ukraine, the wars happening in Palestine, and they should be focused on. But we can't forget the devastating effects of climate change in the long run. Yes, some countries have some serious issues. Yes, they should be looked into. Yes, they may not care about climate change as of now because they have other priorities, but they should. The fate of the entire human population is on the line right now. And also, different countries have different issues to attend to. Not every country is worried about poverty. Not everyone is worried about conflict. But every nation has a job to play in reducing the effect of climate change. And doing this can also contribute to solving many of the other issues, as mentioned. And this could lead to, hopefully, a better society in the future. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Ragib. Thank you all. Now, Abdullah, Tafhim will be the last speaker today. So we will conclude our debate session with Abdullah Tafhim giving his point of view on this debate. And this was very engaging. This was very engaging, and now I'm eager to see which team wins. So now, Abdullah Tafhim, you can start.
All right. So one of the major things is, as no group, we do not think that global warming or climate change should not be a concern. We think that it should not be the topmost priority, especially of what has been happening in the world. Mr. Ragib, just now he mentioned about that's really bad, that 7 million people has been killed. They have lost their lives due to global warming. Try 14.3 million people being killed in just 6 months in the war of Palestine. And the US, as Mr. Rayhan Ahmed said, has given $95 billion. The US has given $300 billion to the Israel, like in total, military as well as other aids. $300 billion. You could literally make power plants from the west coast of USA through the east coast of USA. These nuclear power plants, I get it, nuclear fission, nuclear power plants, these may be dangerous. We have already seen catastrophic events in the history of what will happen if we do not handle it with care. But then this is just one of the tragedies that happened. It is million times, it is not million times, but it's hundreds and thousands of times more powerful while being way more efficient. Those energy sources that we need to focus on, because our generations, try preserving the energy for the generations, the coals and the fossil fuels, they are disappearing day by day. We are not thinking about the generations that are yet to come. We're thinking about global warming, about the warming of the earth that could be reversed, because this is just a natural phenomenon. And yes, everything is linked, but that should not be the topmost priority. There are climate changes, but health, poverty, biodiversity loss, then sustainable energy, education, terrorism, violence. About 30% of the whole US, they resort to violence when just hit with an argument. That's why people have been shooting up high schools. Why not just think about those people actually directly losing their lives based on it. Just a few days ago, the incident in Rafah, they killed 44 people, and they claimed that 2 of the Hamas members were inside a camp, and it was just a missile malfunction. That's what the European Union, they are thinking about global warming, and then the second they close their speech, they go off to their private jets, emitting 2 million tons of carbon dioxide, which is equivalent to a person emitting carbon dioxide throughout the whole year. That much you emit in just 1 hour. Greta Thunberg, we have seen many examples and puppets who speak for global warming that have been going to parties in private jets countless times through 6 months, through 1 year. So this is incredibly hypocritical. But then I guess we couldn't blame. It's just the major countries, they direct whatever they want to. They can do whatever they want. They just have to find a reason good enough to do what they
Tahsin,
want.
you are into the last 30 seconds.
All right. So this is what I'm saying, that it should not be the topmost concern. 2 million tons of carbon dioxide or greenhouse gas has been launched into the equator just because of a rainforest that has just normally throughout its lifespan passed that carbon dioxide, rather than the peasants who are trying to scrape for food in order to take some trees of the land. So this is the bigger picture that the media just controls. This is what I think, that we need to focus on major issues that I've mentioned. Renewable sources of energy, that is actually one of the biggest things that could literally end the planet Earth and Mother Earth. We do not have anywhere else to go. So this is what I think, that there are other issues that we need to focus on while keeping climate change as one of those issues, but not the topmost issues. Because I think that major celebrities and the media, they just follow the trends that they think is cool in order to promote their brand, in order to get the major corporate businesses. They just want money from you. They just want
Tafhim,
to
wrap up.
push an agenda in order of nobility. So that's what I think. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Tafhim. Thank you, everyone. So today's topic was climate change should be the top priority concern in the world. The keyword in this topic is the top priority. And the no group crushed the yes group. Actually, they took that advantage on this topic, because climate change is a priority concern in the world. There is no doubt about it. So everybody agrees on it. Even Rayhan, when he started his point, he mentioned that he is not opposing. But from the yes group, they also has mentioned many things. At the same time, they said if they put priorities on the climate change, that can solve many things, which is the other priorities. Like even Palestine war, they have not mentioned, but I was thinking of, like, the one of the point could be to pressurize the Palestine war or the Ukraine war is like, stop the war for the sake of the environment. You are polluting the environment of the entire world. So yeah, but this was very good. The debate I enjoyed a lot. Actually, I was feeling like I want to speak as well on their behalf. But all the 6 boys, they spoke very good. Everybody has their own point. They counter argument other boys' point. So it was very engaging. So now we will have a 15 minutes question answer session. So anyone can ask question, and it can be open, or you can ask questions to any particular person as well. So go ahead, you can ask question, and go ahead, please. So we have a question answer session now.
May I ask a question? I have a question for Tahmeed Ahmed.
Yes, you can ask.
All right. So in your speech, you mentioned that funding for climate change would fix other problems like violence, war, and other issues that has been going on with the world right now. Could you please elaborate how will funding for cutting down trees and global warming actually prevent the lives being lost in countries like Palestine or Ukraine? Like, how would it directly go to the Palestinian aid? Or maybe if you support Israel, pro-Israel, Israeli aid, if they are being tortured, or even Ukraine, how would you think that funding for keeping the trees, or funding for not sending the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, or funding for maybe cars with big exhausts. So how would funding for them lead to people being saved in war-stricken countries without food, without houses, in tents?
Funding these countries for reducing the emission of carbon dioxide, it helps in many ways, because one thing is the most obvious, that it stops emitting carbon dioxide, and helps it helps a lot of countries actually, because once there is less carbon dioxide getting emitted into the atmosphere, it is easier for the crop production, for the farmers to produce more food, which reduces the climate change which reduces the effect of poverty overall. Also, as I had mentioned before, that it helps people health wise. For example, because a rise in temperature means a rise in the amount of heat waves, which I said that it was very deadly for the elder people, because disease spread out through a rise in the level of insects. And if we reduce the amount of carbon dioxide released into the air, then it reduces the number of insects as well, which reduces the overall effect of health effects and diseases for the elder people. Also, I mentioned that it creates more jobs, because reducing the effect of climate change, there are many people into it, and having so many people into climate change, it creates more opportunities for the unemployed people. So yes, these are the things. And from the no group, there has been a lot of things that fossil fuels should be one of the concerns. Yes, I agree that, because one of the topmost things to consider into climate change is to remove their and switch to renewable energy sources. And that is, I believe that once we focus on renewable energy sources, that just wipes out a major portion of our climate change issues.
I okay. I'm afraid I didn't get the direct answer, but then you also mentioned about insects and elderly people. What about the babies' lives being lost by the missiles launching straight to Gaza
So,
and Rafah? Anybody from the
Those
yes group is open to that question.
it can be solved by like as mentioned before, like considering treaties for the wars, and they can just convince if they can.
Uncle, you're muted.
oh, yes, sorry. Khaja Bhai also has asked a question in the messaging. He asked, like, can an angry and hungry mother feed her crying babies so easily? So it's for everybody. Yeah, you can go ahead, Tafhim.
So, Mr. Khaja Ahmed, uncle, he has already asked many questions in the previous sessions, and all of them were excellent questions, just like one of these. So, can an angry and hungry mother feed her crying baby so easily? Now, easy, there are two contexts. One of them is being easy, that she would not eat herself but give it to her baby, which I think it's the right decision to do. And although the conditions may be hard, but the choice is easy, because she has endured 9 months of pain in order to keep that life alive, in order to keep her generation on growing. So thing is, she would feed herself, but feed her baby. But then angry and hungry mother, despite how much anger, despite how much hunger she has, I believe that if she sees the eyes of her child, of her own blood, everything is gonna melt right through her heart. So whatever happens, her main her main concern would be to keep her baby alive. As we saw in Palestine, the women, the first concern that they have, they do not care about their wealth, they do not care about anything else. Where is my baby? As they find limbs in different pieces. So that is what their main concern is. So as a mother, forget about any other things. The only thing that a mother wants is her child to succeed. And so feeding is just one of the easiest things and choices that a good mother would do. Uncle, you're muted again.
Thank you, Tafhim. Again, it was a very well structured answer from you. Anyone else? Yes, group. You can ask also question like, how come not being environment is the top priority? You can anybody from yes group, you can also ask, because they are asking, they are crushing you. Don't be crushed.
I believe the no group is ready to answer any question that will be asked by any of the yes members. So I would encourage the yes members to ask any question based on this topic.
No problem. So yeah, maybe nobody has any more question. So we are wrapping up now the question answer session. Actually, environment and climate change, this is a very important topic. Yes, very important. It is a top priority thing, to be honest, because when you address climate change, climate change is not only limiting the carbon emission. It is every concern that we have that impacts the climate change. War, yes, you guys, the no group, you are using that these two war currently going on, the funding and all this thing. I think Abdullah Tafhim has mentioned, and Rayhan Ahmed also, that the funding of the US funding. Look, these are international politics. If they do not fund this, they will not have this much money, of course. So they will think their point of view as well. But climate change is a priority, but whether it is a top priority or not, that was the question. And we already have discussed. Both the teams, they have done very good. We have seen a very good debate today, very engaging debate. So now we are finishing our session for today, and I will now request Mr. Amjad Khan to speak about today's session and give his views.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. Today's moderator Murtazaa Tanbeer Ahmed Bhai, Senior Application Manager, Developer, National Ambulance EOE. I would like to thank all our participants, today's Team A and to Team B, for their excellent performance and their argument and their logics and their information, what they are giving us. The good topic, climate change, should be the topmost priority concern in the world. And I would like to thank our honorable guest today, is Engineer Rafiqul Islam Talukder Bhai, Advisor BEAWorld, Chief Editor Synergy, Vice Chairman OSB IB and Dubai Overseas Chapter IB. I would like to thank also the parents and their engineers who are participating with us in this session. And dear respective souls, today we have completed student leadership building session number 21. So everyone knows that we have formed this platform for our future generations, our kids. But the organizer, I would like to request to all that from Bangladesh, even every corner of the world, that the participation will get the more participation, so we'll get more involvement of this platform for our future generations as well as. So today's this good topics, everybody is there. Their space is very good, and for me, everyone is fast. So even our judges, they will verify the two best speaker from this session, and our honorable guest who will announce the best speaker today as well. So this is the thing from my side. I would like to thanks also today's moderator Murtazaa Tanbeer Ahmed Bhai for their nice moderating the session, and thank you very much everybody.
Thank you, Amjad Khan Bhai. He's the so now I would like to invite Reza Rahman Bhai, founder and organizer of BEAWorld, to speak something, to address these boys how they have done today and give his speech.
Thank you very much, Mr. Murtazaa, and thank you very much, the organizer of BEAWorld, Engineer Amjad Hossain Khan. And thanks a lot, all the guests, honorable advisor, and the chief editor of Synergy, Engineer Rafiqul Talukder, advisor, honorable advisor, Engineer Khaja Ahmed Bhai, and honorable advisor, Engineer P.K. Vishwas. And thanks to all participants, this for your excellent display of debate. And this is a global issue, and this is the definitely topmost or one of the most priority in the world. And I suggest you that definitely you studied a lot of about that. And I know that most of the students' exam is going on. After the exam, whenever you have time, we suggest you to read books. Read books concerning the global priority, concerning the self-development. Okay? So whenever you have time, this is a global issue that everybody should be aware about what is the consequences. Okay. And you know that these are most priority and concerns coming globally. And you know that every yearly there is a conference of parties, COP. We are calling COP. Last year it held in Dubai, and it started 1995. So we just study about that to more about that concern. There is Kyoto Protocol. There is 1997 Paris Agreement, 2015. And this is the concern. Already you mentioned that if the temperature is getting higher, that the glacier sea ice will melt and the water level will be high, and many countries will be go under the water. So this is a humanitarian issue also. Okay, so I'll not extend my speaking. So our honorable judge will declare the best speaker. Everybody's performance was fantastic, but as a choice, we have to select two best speakers, and our honorable speaker will declare it. Thank you very much for inviting me, Engineer Murtazaa.
Thank you, Reza Bhai, for your thoughts. Now, I would like to invite Mr. P.K. Vishwas to give his view about today's session. I think he is not in the session now. So, Khaja Bhai, are you there? Mr. Khaja Ahmed, could you please say something?
Well, good evening, everyone, and good evening, UAE. After that Dubai flood, I hope you are well, good enough now. We're trying to recover from there. We have the cyclone Rimal here, fighting with nature. Nature is coming up on and on again, over and over again, in all different parts of the world. Whatever we are doing, we ignore them. Development is the first, construction is the first priority. Environment is the mitigation measures. This is least priority. Safety measures, all blah, 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 blah. Actually, what matters is the construction. If I can build a huge structure, and that is an investment project, and that is my first priority. The others are not. So if I take it from that point of view, the topic for today, climate change, should be the topmost priority concern in the world, is is this a topic of debate, or it is already an established fact? It is a fact. That's why the topic has been made, and you are fighting for and against for a debate, which is obviously a very good practice, and this should be continued. I think my hats off to all of you. You tried your best to do it, but what Reza Bhai just reminded all of you that you should study a little more and get more in-depth information from all this COP that is going around you, COP 21, and then the previous one and also the future one. So from your for your studies also and for your career also. So take help of those informations flying around, and you can make much more higher score using those informations in this kind of debate. There is no doubt about that. It will be much richer. Rafiq Bhai is there, so Rafiq Bhai will tell you why. And I just tell you one thing about the hungry mother or the angry mother. You know, of course, I mean, Abdullah Tafhim trying to be a little bit emotional on that. I can look at my baby with red eyes, okay. I can feed by all means. Of course, that mother will do it. But when the mother is angry and when the mother says something bad, you all know that. What happens to a family? A family destroys easily when you make your mother angry. And mother is not happy, nothing is happy. All right, all we are talking blah blah, they're all bullshit. So focus on your mother and make your mother happy first, your first priority by all means, and do not ignore. You are not ignoring it, then your mother will be happy. Only blah blah, mother will not be happy. So I'm sure Rafiq Bhai will come and say more about it, but definitely it is a fact, and we should give more emphasis on this part more than anything else. This is what I believe, my personal belief, that we ignored it many times, many years, but now time to really focus on it and give little bit of compensation at least, so mother do not go and curse their son and the other people. So cursing is really the end of it. So you should stop mothers from cursing. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Khaja Ahmed Bhai. That was really good. Actually, nobody spoke like you did now from the ES group. Actually, yeah. So thank you, Khaja Ahmed Bhai. So now I will request our honorable guest today, Engineer Rafiqul Islam Talukder, advisor of BEAWorld and Chief Editor of Synergy. Please, Engineer Rafiqul Islam Talukder Bhai.
Thank you, Mr. Murtazaa, for your nice anchoring this debate session. And thanks all the speakers, Mr. Engineer Khaja Ahmed, Engineer Amjad, Engineer Rajaur Rahman. I would like to give a special thanks to the debater who made the debate so exciting, made us enjoyable session. Actually, I was very much enjoyed this session, and have learned also from them. There are some exciting points. There are some pivotal points come out from their discussion. So that is very important and cognizable in terms of in the context of global warming and climate change. Actually, all over the world, it is very burning and hot topics. Whole world is focusing on these topics, and it is really very much important topics for our lives and livelihood. You see, and I especially thanks to the organizers and founders to select these particular topics. and that's why it is very hot topics. The first time ever first ever seen to select this sort of topics as their debate topics. And I hope this sort of topics, this was a start, not finish, but it will continue. These topics will continue further. I hope in the next 1 year, this we should focus for on these topics particularly as a debate topics. Actually, this climate change issue is a science, nothing but science. So lot of things, lot of learning lesson is there in these topics. If anyone can go get into this particular topics, he will learn a lot of things. Again, I told it's a science. You see, in the mid of 80s, it was felt that something is stolen from your house. So, who is the thief? Who is the culprit? Stealing your goods from your house. That means that things, what is we are missing, what is losing, what we are things are get stolen from a house. That has failed the global warming. In the mid 80s, scientists have noticed the global warming started, heat is increasing, and seawater level is increasing. But who is the culprit behind that? They could not find it. So at that time, IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, is formed middle of 80s. They started research study behind that. After that, you see, United Nations framework for climate change formed 1992. After that, you see, COP started 1995, then 1997. Until 1997, actually, the world community was they're feeling the heat is increasing, global warming is there. But who is the culprit? Till that time, nobody would know who is the culprit contributing in this global warming. In this scenario, in the face of this global warming, the third scientific report published in 2001. In 2001, they just guess this could be the greenhouse gas. Maybe or may not be. They are not certain that greenhouse gas is the culprit behind this global warming. After then, again, they started research study. Then fourth scientific report come out 2007. When fourth scientific report published in 2007, at that time, scientists were definite and certain that that culprit is greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gas, 97% they are certain about the greenhouse gas contributing to global warming. So at that time, after that, world community they opened their eyes, and behind this global warming, who is the contributor? Our developed nations. Developed nations acknowledged and recognized, yes, we are the responsible behind this greenhouse gas emission. Mostly China, then European Union and United States. So finally they acknowledged, yes, greenhouse gas. From how it is emission is coming out? From their industrializations, from the transport sector, from the fertilizer sector. So a lot of sectors actually they identified. So from where greenhouse gas emission is happening, carbon dioxide emission, carbon emission, then methane gas, nitrous oxide, CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, they're contributing, depleting our ozone layer. So this is full of science. Lot of things, learning lessons are here. I would request our young leaders, young brothers. So please focus more on these topics. Please go deep down. You have to go deep diving, not down, deep diving. Go for deep diving on this particular subject. If you know the climate change, the reason of climate change, reason of global warming, you will be the complete human being, the knowledgeable person, and you will know the whole world. So I would request to focus on these topics in particular. You see in Bangladesh what is happening, Mr. Khaja, Engineer Khaja mentioned the Remal. You see now with the cyclone, its frequency of cyclone is happening every year. Go back to the 20th century. Now it is 21st century. 20th century, go back to 20th century. At that time, any old person, old man or woman having 80 years asked, "Did you see any cyclone in your life?" He used to tell, he said, "Oh, I saw throughout my life one time or two times." So in the last century, any old age people, man, woman, they used to tell they can remember one or two cyclone throughout the whole lifespan. Now, what is the scenario? Every year, cyclone is coming every year. Recently, we experience the Remal. So what is the impact of that? You see how sea level is increasing and the temperature is increasing. Consider the Bangladesh, India also. Now we see India, Delhi and Rajasthan, their temperature 52, 53 degrees Celsius. It's like that. So it is very difficult to survive. And saline water, you see, entering your agricultural land, damaging your agriculture. These people are suffering a lot for the issue of drinking water, in lack of drinking water. So they are not getting the lack of proper your potable water, drinking water. So a lot of challenges in front of us. Today, you see, sorry, I think I'm focusing some other points, so I should not divert. I come to the debate. Actually, debate is really enjoyable. Logic and counter logic, argument and counter argument. By that way, today debate is very much excited. Even I will tell, even no group. I was little afraid, shaky. I hope no group will lose miserably, and they cannot fight against yes group, as because now global warming, everybody is in favor of global warming, even from the no group, from even the negative side. So they fought to the last to counter the yes group. Yes, of course, nowadays both are our very hot topics. We should focus against poverty. We should fight against climate change, but again at the same time we should fight against this political fight also. So this political fight, Ukraine, Russia, or this Israel and Palestine war, it is not also acceptable for us. Even it is not desirable. Lot of lives in threat, under threat. Similarly, a lot of lives and livelihood threat in terms of global warming, climate change also. So both we have to be addressed at this point of time. I hope our community, world community, will be united against the global warming, climate change. We'll fight against climate change. At the same time, we'll try to resolve this conflict, what is happening in Ukraine, Russia, Israel and Palestine. So finally, we want a peaceful life and all over the tranquility and unity and economic growth at the end of the day, and job generation, our poverty elevation, creating the job opportunity. So we should focus on that topics. That should be the priority agenda at this point of time. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for giving me patient hearing. All the best. Good night.
Thank you very much, Engineer Rafiqul Islam Talukder bhai. You said a lot, about this topic, and actually you are right. They should dig down to this topic. They should learn more. They should read more to know about this. As Khaza bhai also mentioned, you should know your mother. You should not make your mother angry. So yes, on that topic, I would like to hand over to Mr. Reza Bhai to announce the winning group and the speakers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Murtazaa. So now I'm declaring today, as based on the panel of judges decision, today the winning team is no, and the best speakers are Ragib Sadad and Abdullah Tafhim. And very briefly, I'm requesting Engineer Ashraf is here. Engineer Ashraf?
Yes, Rajabhai, I'm here.
Yeah. Just can you briefly speak something?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, today's topic was very nice actually. It is a burning topic nowadays. Global warming. And everybody are aware about this one, little bit or more or less. But from today's debate perspective, yes, I think from their level of understanding was very nice. All the participants, the debaters, they explained the whole this topic very nicely. And because they are in grade 12, grade 9, and B.Sc first year level, so from that perspective, I think the way they are articulated this topic is very warming, and I felt everybody performed very well, especially Abdullah Tafhim and Ragib Nihal Sadad. They portrayed the whole thing very nicely, and it was a lively discussion, and I hope this will keep growing on, and more participants will be joining shortly. That's all from my side.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
The member of editorial board of Synergy. Okay, so I'm requesting Mr. Murtazaa to conclude the session.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you all the participants. Thank you all the speakers who has spoke about the speakers and the panel of judges, honorable guests, everyone. So that is the end of our session number 21. So inshallah, we will meet you again in the next session. Thank you everybody.